We are 18 days away from Kentucky Derby 150. The preps are done. The gate is set. So what's leading the news stories? Well, it's Bob Baffert, of course.
Trust the Profits is proud to be sponsored by Game of Silks. Go to silks.io to get in the game. Real ownership, real races, real rewards.
Hey, welcome in. I'm Riders Up 10. You can find me on the app X at that handle, at Riders Up 10. I just wanted to share some opinions. Looks like as I'm checking out X today, I see Baffert is trending and the comments are going crazy in Horse Racing X, and everybody has a comment. It's Bob Baffert, right? So here's what happened. I guess Amir Zidane has, or his lawyers, have filed a lawsuit against Churchill Downs Incorporating after Muth's win in the Arkansas Derby, stating that now they have a horse that has finally secured a position in the gate. It was the right time to make this move, and they are filing lawsuit to get their horse entry into the starting gate for the Kentucky Derby. We all know that Bob Baffert, based on Churchill Downs' ruling, has been banned from participation. Initial ban was for 2 years, and then Churchill Downs came out last summer and added another year, and that's part of the story here, I guess. So Zidane is basically stating that in their appeal of the last ruling, that the court made a decision that was not based in constitutional law. So they're asking the court to make a ruling on that. They're also saying that it damages the Kentucky Derby's race value and that it fails to follow his intent of making horse racing fair. Making horse racing fair. Anyway, Churchill Downs, of course, states that they're a private entity and they can do what they want. They can deny entry into the race to anyone for any reason. So I guess that Zidane, based on the fact that here we are 18 days out, they've kind of put the court in a bad position because we know the justice system doesn't normally move that fast. And they've kind of put the court system behind the 8 ball. So we're actually expecting a fairly fast ruling. So it looks like the judge just stated earlier this week that they're planning to rule on this case sometime later this week, possibly as soon as tomorrow. So let me share a few thoughts about this particular issue. Before I do that, I have to say this. Obviously, Bob Baffert is a polarizing figure. We get it. We all know that, right? You either love the guy or you hate the guy. Well, actually, I don't know that those are the only two choices because I don't do either. I don't love the guy and I don't hate the guy. You know what? If his horses run, they run. If they don't run, they don't run. Honestly, I don't care. But here's what I do care about. I care about the game of horse racing. So let's take a look at it with that. Put the emotion aside. This is horse racing. We're all gamblers, those of us that follow. If you're watching this, odds are you're a gambler. If you're betting using your emotion, not good. Okay, so let's put that aside for a minute. All right, so let's go back a little bit of history. So Churchill Downs basically started this point system for Kentucky Derby 2013. There is no criteria in the point system for not awarding points to a horse based on their point system for any circumstances. So when CDI banned Bob Baffert from the Kentucky Derby, and then his horses were allowed to run in the Kentucky Derby preps, they did not award those points to another horse. So let's take Muth's case. Muth came in first in the Arkansas Derby. They did not award those 100 points to Just Steel, who came in second. The 100 points were set aside, and then they awarded the other points for second, third, fourth, etc. to those horses. So if you think about it, who's got those 100 points? Muth does. I mean, it's pretty clear. Those points were earned by Muth, and Muth has those 100 points. If it's not the case, why doesn't Just Steel have the 100 points? So that's one thing that I think we have to consider a little bit. So think about Muth running in that race. This is Bob Baffert. We all know what's going on. Everybody knows the history. Everybody has their opinion, and their opinion is based on that history. So who thinks out there that Muth ran in the Arkansas Derby and was not given more extensive testing than any horse running any race this year. Are you kidding me? Come on. We know that the horse went through the ringer. I know. You're going to drop in the comments and you're going to tell me all your hypothetical reasons of how it was worked and played and twisted and done so that they could do what they do and make it so it couldn't be found. Give me a break. Okay. I'm tired of hearing all the arguments. So let's just look at that for a minute. So as a matter of fact, let's go beyond Muth. Let's go beyond the win in the Arkansas Derby. Do you think any Bob Baffert horse, trained horse right now, runs in any race in this country, places, gets purse money, and isn't being tested? If you think that, you're kidding yourself, okay? Because it's not what's happening. We all know that all the horses are being tested. Do you not don't think that Bob Baffert's horses are probably being scrutinized a little more, maybe unfairly even? I dare to say, I think they are. All right. So let's look at another point here. Allowing Bob Baffert trained horses, those that qualify, into the Kentucky Derby, in my opinion, is good for the game. So I'm going to tell you why. There are a lot of people I've seen this. If you're a pro Baffert on this issue, and we won't go into the sides, but if you're pro Baffert, there are a lot of opinions out there that Bob Baffert has some of the best 3-year-olds in the crop this year. I won't say that early on I didn't agree with that. I've kind of tempered my opinion a little bit based on what's happened to some of his horses being out of training for a little bit. Hold your opinions. Some of his horses being out of training and those that have now qualified for the gate and what I think of those horses. And honestly, here's what I think. If Muth is allowed to run in the Kentucky Derby and makes the starting gate, Muth's probably the second favorite in the race behind Fierceness. I say bring it on, take the money. I will take it in this pari-mutuel game and say thank you very much. Because I don't think Muth can win the Kentucky Derby. My own personal opinion. I think if you're a Fierceness fan right now, you're begging for Muth to be into the Kentucky Derby and take the money. Why? Because Muth is going to take a lot of money, and that's going to allow you to get a fair price on what the horse that's probably going to be the early odds-on favorite, post-time favorite, everything favorite, everyone's favorite. Maybe not everyone, but you get my point. So why would you not want Muth to run? I just don't understand it. If it allows me to get a better price on horses that I like, again, I say bring it on. Let Muth run. So here's another thought. If you're allowing Muth into the race, then do we not also have to look at potentially allowing other Baffert trained horses that would have qualified into the race as well? So obviously that would mean that there would be at least one additional horse into the race because we all know that Imagination finished second in the Santa Anita Derby, and that would also result in enough points to get that horse into the Kentucky Derby. And again, based on that horse and his performance, look, I did very well in wagering in the Santa Anita Derby. Thank you, Imagination. But not betting on the horse in the Derby if he's in the starting gate. So again, I say bring him on, let him take some money. I've seen a couple of comments out on X, people saying, well, it's unfair to the horses who are in the starting gate now if those horses get in the gate because it would knock their horses out. Knock their horses out. Your horses didn't get more points. These horses earned more points and, in my opinion, deserve an opportunity to run in the Kentucky Derby. Look, Bob Baffert's polarizing. I understand. We all have that opinion. But whether you're a Bob Baffert supporter, a Bob Baffert hater, you support CDI's opinion, you wish he was banned perfectly, put all that aside, take the emotion out, and look at the race. If you're watching this and you're a horse racing better, look at the PPs and tell me you don't want those horses in the race to bet against. Or if you look at the PPs and say you love them, tell me you don't want the horse in the race to support it. I don't get it. I don't get the opinions on saying we don't want the horses that got the most points into the race. That's my thoughts. There it is. Take a big sip of your haterade and let me hear your thoughts. comment below. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. You know you love the video. Come on. Everybody loves Bob Baffert. They hate Bob Baffert. So you want to talk about Bob Baffert. It doesn't matter which way you think. So like the video. Let me hear your comments. Riders up.